Today is my first day as a software engineer at Pinterest. Right off the bat, I missed my 8 a.m. alarm and wondered if I should ruin my career for 5 more minutes of sleep. When I arrived at the office, they gave me a bag full of welcome goodies, which instantly validated my existence. I also panicked because I forgot my keyboard and mouse at home, so I went to the IT desk to loan and was surprised when they said I could keep it. Like, okay, thank you, I love you and your entire lineage. My schedule this week is pretty packed, mostly onboarding meetings, so I spent hours just listening. Then it was lunchtime. They had Thai food today, and again, free stuff, so it felt weird. Also, don't mind me while I devour these Thai chicken breasts. I had some time after lunch, so I went on a tour around the office, and I literally found a game room with a PS5 and some games. I had to force myself out of there before I'm 2 hours into a ranked mission in Apex and my life is threatened. Then I worked for a bit, set up my dev app, and contributed to some projects to test out my environment, and then headed out at 5. It was a beautiful day outside, very unlike Canada, so I decided to salt the pigeon, go for a walk, and think about high-risk startup ideas that'll ruin my life. So yeah, that's it. See you in the next one.
Guys, it's Jenny. Come spend a realistic day in my life at Harvard with me. Keeping it simple today with the outfit. I've also been waking up super early lately. I think I still have the high of the first week of school where you just wake up early for everything. I have a 9 a.m. class this semester, which is my math class. I heavily debated on taking this class because it's 3 problem sets a week. Afterwards, I went to my Chinese class, and I have some time in between my classes to go get lunch. Today is a pretty rough day because I have all 4 classes, and one of my classes is 3 hours long. But we will slay through the day. For lunch, the dining hall had Indian food, and I also got a salad. Now that I'm no longer a freshman, my housing is so much farther away from my classes. For the rest of the afternoon, I was stuck in the lecture hall. If I'm being so honest, I think my statistics class will take me out this semester. And then this class is my corporate finance class, which is the one that takes 3 hours. I was super hungry after this class, so I got dinner, and then I headed to my statistics office hours. Like, I understand mean, median, and mode, but then they add coding, and then it gets really complicated. I logged off for the night at 9 p.m. and called my family and boyfriend. And that's it. That's my realistic day. Bye!
This is another long day as a personal chef in Beverly Hills. My clients are having guests tonight and they requested roasted chicken with the peach balsamic sauce. We are nearing the end of stone fruit season, so had to get it in one last time before they're gone. The day before, I broke down the chicken, deboned the thighs, and I always eat the wings since we don't serve them. Chef snacks. I seasoned the chicken with salt and herbes de Provence. Let that dry brine and marinate overnight. Herbes de Provence is a French mix of dried herbs, usually a combination of thyme, basil, rosemary, tarragon, savory, marjoram, and although not traditional, sometimes lavender. It's basically the perfect roasted chicken herb mixture. One of my clients wanted eggs for lunch while the other ate light vegetable soup, so I chopped carrots, celery, zucchini, gently simmered in chicken stock, and some herbs. Now that it's lunchtime, I fry up their eggs and toast and serve with a small cup of warm soup. I boiled these baby mixed potatoes the day before as well, then smashed them flat. The reason why I smash them is to increase surface area, and also when they bake, the crackly edges get nice and crispy. I want to make a mustardy sauce for the potatoes, so I sweat the diced shallots in olive oil with a bit of salt. Once they've sweated down, I toast the grated garlic and add Dijon mustard and whole grain mustard, then deglaze with white wine. For the peach balsamic sauce, I do the same process as the mustard sauce, sweat shallots in olive oil with a bit of salt, toast garlic, add in chopped rosemary, and deglaze with red wine. Once the harshness of the alcohol is burned off, add in balsamic vinegar and saba. I've explained this once before, but in case you missed it, saba is cooked down grape must. Grape must is basically just crushed grapes, skin, seeds, and all. Saba is what balsamic vinegar is before it is aged and turned into vinegar. So saba doesn't have the acidity that balsamic vinegar has, but it does have a wonderful fruity sweetness that is great for the sauce. Then I add some chicken stock and just let that reduce. I added a few of those nectarines because I wanted them to cook down and flavor the sauce. The potatoes will take a while, so I coat it in olive oil, lay on a sheet pan, and throw them into the oven at 400 degrees to bake. Always flip your roasted potatoes halfway through so that all sides end up equally golden brown and crispy. An hour before the guests arrive, I pre-sear the chicken. For dinner parties, you should always pre-sear if you can. It'll save you a lot of time and trouble when it's time to serve. Just golden brown and crisp, but still raw on the inside. The guests have arrived, so I finished plating up their caviar platters with all the accoutrements and 2 ounces of Osetra caviar per couple. Meter sent me this cool wireless thermometer, so I tried it out for the first time. Just stuck it in and into the oven to finish cooking. At this point, the balsamic sauce has reduced down and is basically done. I cook it down until it's thick, tangy, and sweet. Then I throw in all the peaches and nectarines and let it gently simmer. Now for the mustard sauce, with all the harsh alcohol smell and flavor evaporated, I throw in cubes of butter to essentially make a mustard beurre blanc, finished with fresh dill, chives, and fresh lemon juice. Always using the 2-spoon tasting technique. It's mustardy, tangy, herbaceous, and it's so good with crispy potatoes. I finished the peach sauce with just a little bit of butter to give some shine, richness, and body, and once the butter is all emulsified, throw in the chiffonade basil off heat just to let it infuse. And for the veg, I hard saute the French green beans and sugar snap peas. Season with salt, and once the beans have a little color, I add in shallots and garlic just to toast and coat. Finally, to plate, I give each guest a bit of breast and thigh, toss the crispy potatoes with the herby mustardy butter sauce, and plate. Add the garlicky green beans, and of course, the gently cooked peaches and lots of that balsamic sauce on top of the chicken. I didn't record it, but I also made them the very popular fudgy chocolate brownie cake, heated up so it's extra fudgy, and simply plated with vanilla ice cream. Then after all that, it's time for me to clean up. I did the dishes, cleaned the surfaces and the electric stove tops, took out the trash, and headed home. Thank God it's Friday.
Hey y'all, here's a day in the life of a 17-year-old content creator, and y'all definitely want to stay tuned for this because my day was pretty interesting. I woke up at about 11 o'clock and I started my day by brushing my teeth, washing my face, and I took a morning shower. I love morning showers. It just gets me ready for the day. I put on my vanilla body combo, made my bed, and I got my lights ready for film. I did my skincare routine, let out my dogs to go pee, and now it was time for film. This took about 1 hour, and once I was finished filming, I got ready to go drop off my Depop order. I picked out a Skims top and cargo jeans from Cotton On, and these vintage Guess shoes that I thrifted. This is the fit completed, really comfy, and I topped it all off with my Coach bag. Picked up my camera, and now it was time to go to the post office. Now when I got to the post office, I was super excited, but the post office said that they didn't have any supplies, which means I didn't have any boxes to put my orders in. But God always works in my favor because guess what I found? 2 boxes on the floor. Now these boxes smell like booty juice and pickles, but it got the job done. But this is why I really got pissed off.
Do I have to print something? Yeah. I don't have a printer. I have to go to Center. I think that's the one across from the Publix on Piedmont.
Fuck this bootleg post office. I had to Uber to a whole different post office. I had to spend more Uber money, but I couldn't find my Uber driver. But when I found my Uber driver, there was no driver in the Uber. I checked my Uber app and realized there was gonna be no driver. Y'all, what the fuck? I was so confused. I did not know what was going on. There was no driver, but the ghost was whipping at her. But bro made good conversation.
What you did today? You cracked some fine shit, man. Like, lucky you, lucky you.
I made it out alive and I got my Depop orders ready to ship. Y'all need to go check out my Depop because I got some good stuff in there. Once everything was packed, I realized I was at Little 5 Points. If you live in Atlanta and you have not visited Little 5 Points, you need to. There's so many cute vintage shops and there's so many cute places to take photos. And that is exactly what I did. I didn't buy anything, but I wanted to go to Ponce City Market and I ended up back in Casper's car. Once I got to Ponce, I went to Sephora only because I had to return something. I didn't buy anything, but I went to the food court because I wanted to find boba. And Ponce City was the perfect place to look because Ponce has so many food options with so many different cultures. I found this hidden gem. I've never been in here before, but it was so cute. I ended up trying boba from the shop called Uwu. No, it was literally called Uwu. I took some photos, got my boba, and went straight to the Beltline. Now y'all be saying Atlanta's so boring. Y'all don't want to come live in Atlanta. Atlanta's so boring. No, you are just not looking hard enough. Beltline is such a great place to go to. Like the views are crazy, and I love just riding my scooter and riding around. The community is great, and you can discover so many different things just by walking on the Beltline. Different food, different arts, different locations, everything. Literally such a vibe. But I ended up at Piedmont Park, drove around some more, and I got to feed these cute little ducks. There was even a little baby duck in the back. She was so cute. I stopped at the pond for a little bit, and y'all, it was so beautiful. This is one of my favorite places to go to in Atlanta. I love just looking at the wildlife in the water. And I stumbled upon these gorgeous women. I had to take a photo of them. They were so beautiful, and they were so sweet. After a wonderful day in the city of Atlanta, it was time to go home, and I was greeted with a whole bunch of PR packages. I love that. I made my plate and I got something to eat. Then I went upstairs and I started opening all of my PR. This is literally my favorite part of every single day. And after that, I got right back to filming. Then it was wind down time and I turned off all my lights for the day. Brushed my teeth, washed my face, and did my skincare routine, and now it was time to relax for the day. That's all, y'all. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I'm going to do a 5-client nail day with prices and timestamps included. It was day 1 of 3 before going on vacation, so you guys already know I had to get in as many clients as I could. So let's get right into it. I started my day off at 9 a.m. I had one of my regulars. She wanted a medium full set. So I started off by prepping up her natural nails and gluing on the tips. And I forgot to record the application, but for acrylic, I'm using Bad Enough from Dynamic Nail Supply. And this is the inspo pic she brought in, except she wanted them all to be a light pink color. So I used 007 from Valentino for that. So after doing the Frenchies, I went ahead and did the flower. This clear molding gel is from a cart, and then with that same pink gel color, I went ahead and did the details for the flowers. Lastly, I went in with my Dynamic Nail Supply top coat. After the top coat, I did my gel lines with the Macart rhinestone glue. We finished up at about 10:45 a.m. Her total was $85 and she tipped me $10, making it $95 in total. And this is what they ended up looking like. Super cute. Then up next at 11 a.m. was my girl Anna. We are doing a long full set except soaking off this one nail that would not come off. Miss Girl has been coming to me since the summer before freshman year, and today I got to do her graduation nails. It was super bittersweet, so slay Miss Anna. But anyways, while that one finger was soaking, I went ahead and prepped up her other hand. For her shape, we always do a squared look. She didn't have an exact inspo pic, but these were the vibes right here. Pretty much, she really liked the gold flowers, so we kind of just mixed in a little bit of all of that. I'm going in with my dehydrator and primer from Mia's Secret. For her base color, I'm using a mix that I made of Flawless Nude, Classic Nude, Bad Enough, and a little bit of Blossom from Valentino. And here we are right after application. Devoured that. Then I went ahead and shaped and filed everything. Okay, for the white Frenchies, I'm using the white from Dynamic Nail Supply. My go-to, absolutely love it. I filled those in after drying them out. And we did some little gold accents on the Frenchies. On the ring finger, I did go in first with a little bit of the white airbrush. By the way, my third one died, so I am now on my fourth one. Fun. Well, it didn't die, it clogged up, but anyways. And to get this little gold mixture thingy, whatever, I used a little bit of the gold chrome and mixed it with top coat. And this is what we look like right before top coat, and then this is afterwards. We finished up at 1:10 p.m. Her total was $95. She tipped me $5, making it $100 even. This set was so slay per usual. Then after that, I went ahead and set up my pedicure station to do a pedi. My next client was at 2 p.m. She is one of my regulars as well. This whole day was full of regulars, which honestly love. But I started off by removing all of the old polish that she had already on her toes. After I was able to get most of the polish off, I went ahead and prepped up her nail bed. And for the toes, I like to use this much smaller and skinnier sanding band. I also proceeded to cut down her toenails and file them. Then it was time for my favorite part, which is getting all the gunk out. The camera's a little blurry / shaky because I had on the vibration setting for the footsie bath. Then it was time for the application of the gel. I went in with base coat first, and then here I'm going in with vanilla cream from D&D, the Diva collection. She did do her nails matching to her toes, and this color looks super cute, so I went ahead and did 2 coats of that. And then I soaked the feet back in the water again, and then I'm going in with my callus remover. After the callus remover, I went in with my foot scrub, gave a little mini massage to make sure we got all that dead skin off, and then I went in with my mask. And this is what the toes ended up looking like, super cute. Finished up at 3:30 p.m. Her total was $75. She tipped me $12, making it $87 in total. And then it was time for my 4th client at 4 p.m. This is Miss Jenny Girl. She's actually the one that I'm going on vacation with, so we got a lot of things done during this appointment, including our itinerary. But anyways, we are also doing her graduation nails, and we're doing a medium full set, dehydrator and primer for Mia's Secret. And I literally cannot for like the life of me find her inspo pic, but you guys will see what we did here. So for the cover acrylic, I'm using Warm Me Up from Dynamic Nail Supply. And then I went ahead and shaped and filed everything and got it nice and buffed out. And used Young Nail Swipe to remove any dust and debris. So here I am and doing the Frenchies, again using Dynamic Nail Supply white gel color. And on the ring finger, we did a 3D acrylic flower. For the white acrylic, I'm using 01 from Not Polish. Then we also placed down these other flowers, and I put some gold gems to accessorize it. And these ended up looking so beautiful. We finished up at about 5:50 p.m. Her total was $80, and she tipped me $10, making it $90 in total. And then it was time for my last client of the day at 6:30 p.m. Doing a fill on this set. This is about 3 or so weeks old. So I started off by drilling off everything, and she did want to cut down the length a little bit, so I did that as well. Then I prepped up her natural nail beds for the acrylic, and I am filling in the gap with Flawless Nude from Dynamic Nail Supply. And again, going in, shaping and filing everything. Her inspo pic here was from my girl Pretty and Divine. And to make her base just the slightest bit more pink, I'm going in with Sheer Pink 059 from D&D DC. And then I drew on all the Frenchies. For the flowers, I kind of just did a couple different blobs of different shades of pink onto my brush. And I drew out the petals, and then I did the same exact thing with blue. And this was the final look. Finished up at 7:50 p.m. Her total was $75. She tipped me $11, making it $86 in total. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, besties.
Spend the day with me as a 2nd grade teacher. I forgot that I moved my desk around, and I just walked into so much space. Like, as I walked in, literally had all this space over here. Get my computer booted up because we watch the school news every morning whenever the kids come in. Wow. I got engaged 1 year ago today. This is where I keep all of our worksheets at that we do for the week. So now let's get these out. So we are going to be using Play-Doh to introduce fractions today. So let's get this out. I have 18 kids, so I just picked 3 random colors and got 3 of each. Let's go check my mailbox. Only thing I have left to do this morning is write their morning work on the board. And bring the lucky ducks over. Update on the day so far. So this morning we did reading, and we played Boom Clap Statch with nouns. Today we went over common nouns, pronouns, and proper nouns. And I love making these charts with them so that they actually know what it is that's up here. I also am giving them a pop quiz in social studies today whenever they come back from specials. So I went ahead and wrote some sweet notes on their desks. Here's what they say. And last one. I just feel like giving them that extra little motivation for a pop quiz is going to be helpful. Also, during this time, I went ahead and made some copies. So right after I dropped them off at specials, I just go right to the copier, check my mailbox, do the copies that I need, and then come back and just make sure that everything else is ready in the classroom. I have been loving starting off the class with the Social Studies Club podcast. So here are just a bunch of different ones, and then it lets you know which ones we've already watched. So I think I'm going to do Are Your Teeth Stronger Than a Shark's? Get it pulled up for them, and we're going to find out if our teeth's stronger than a shark's.
Whoever makes these videos are incredible.
They're incredible.
How do they even know this?
I know, right? Do you guys think that your teeth are stronger than a shark's?
No.
No? Yes?
A shark can bite through human skin, but we can't even bite through it.
Well, let's watch the video and find out. It is lunchtime now. I don't have lunch duty today. I do have recess duty, so I have about 30-ish minutes until I have to go with the kids. So now a little update on our social studies. They all did their little pop quizzes, and they did so good on them. Just did the top 4, which was our continent, country, state, and city. And then we started these little social studies packets, and it's who chooses our holidays. And I got this from the Social Studies Club with Naomi O'Brien and Lanisha Tab. Since we are learning about our country and the history of it, I just felt like that would go so good with it. So I printed those out today because I just was just like, oh my gosh, this would be like so good to go with it. For our reading workstations, I do have to make a couple copies because I'm a couple copies short for some reason. So luckily I have this in my classroom. So we're gonna be doing this today. That is such a pro of having a printer in your classroom because if I'm short a copy or I need to print something out, then it's just easy to have it. I'm also going to get myself ready for math, so I'm going to go ahead and put one Play-Doh on every student's desk. They love whenever we use anything hands-on, so I know they're going to be excited about this Play-Doh. It's going to make fractions fun today. Now, time to eat my lunch. I have been obsessed with rice cakes, peanut butter, and chocolate chips. I also have a chopstick and some fruit. I already ate the grapes out of this, though. This literally looks perfection. Cheers. I feel like the top 2 that they get mixed up is North America and South Carolina because the North and South, sometimes they want to put North Carolina or South America. So I just want to make sure that's up there as a reminder. I don't want any extraness on that anchor chart only because I want to get straight to the point where we live, what it is, because 2nd grade, they need to know that. What did you do yours into?
Fourth.
Fourths, good. What did you put yours
Thirds.
into? Thirds. You did yours in what?
Halves.
Halves, good. I just got done with car duty, so let's go over what we did the last couple hours of school. So I taught fractions. We went over part, whole, numerator, denominator, and then what's equal and what's not. We used Play-Doh at first to model all of this, and then we stood up and found fractions within ourselves. We also did a couple writing activities towards the end of the day during workstations. We cleaned up, we got our homework packets, we put everything away. Now I'm gonna make a different video cleaning up my classroom. Thanks for watching.